Hi, this is Darian Meacham from UWE Philosophy, and I'm here with Dr. Francesco Tava from the University of Milan. Hello, Francesco.
Hello, Darian.
How are you?
Pretty good, thanks.
Francesco, you recently gave a paper where you argued for the political significance of laughter. Can you explain something about why laughter might be a significant political category or political tool, even?
Yeah, that was actually the end of my talk. And I think that we can consider this political outcome of laughter if we consider the basic aspects of this phenomenon. So, for example, what Bergson said about it. These are three very basic aspects. The humanity of laughter, the fact that only a human being can laugh. The fact that laughing, a subject actually detaches himself from reality, so takes a step back from reality. And the third aspect, which is also the most important, that laughter is a social activity. There is a big difference between laughing alone and laughing with others. So as a consequence, we can see also a sort of contradiction. So the position of the subject is somehow inclusive and also exclusive in this laughter. He is in the world, he has a part in it, which is a social activity, laughter. But laughing, he also takes a step back from reality. And for this reason, he can become a useful political character, rightly because of this very complex situation in which he is within his reality with all the concerns for the political situation, but he also has this sort of outer view that enables him to have a more deep and also more complicated perspective on it.
So we usually think of the political actor as someone who is completely involved in the immediate social circumstances. But what you're describing is sort of a double movement where the person or the actor, the laughing actor, is at the same time involved and distanced. But how does that doubleness work?
Well, I think that we can see the difference here from a passive political actor and an active political actor, in the sense that if you are totally involved, actually, you cannot recognize if in politics there is something wrong. So you cannot see if actually there is some problematic or some moment, some situation in which you have also to say no, to build a sort of opposing position against the mainstream. And this is what I mean by politics. So not the typical idea of politics, but a politics that involves this double situation, as you said.
In your work, you create a connection between the idea of laughter and the idea of political dissidence, which seems somewhat different from political action, or it seems a special category of political action. Can you explain a little bit about how laughter might relate to dissidence in particular?
Yeah, that's actually one of my main points. Yeah, we can imagine the dissident action as something very different from a normal opposing action in politics. You can imagine it like you can imagine the typical political opposing action like a sort of power which is absolutely the same of the mainstream power, but just opposed to him. So a sort of plus against another plus. In this case, we are imagining a sort of minus. So a sort of strength, a sort of power, which is totally different, qualitatively different from the one of the mainstream power, which actually creates a totally heterogeneous force that for this heterogeneity threatens more the power. And I think that laughter has this possibility because of his shattering characteristic.
So if I understand you correctly, is what you're saying that the power of laughter stems from the fact that political power, as normally understood, in fact, can't comprehend laughter, and hence can't respond to it. And so the laughing political actor has a sort of negating power, has a sort of power in powerlessness over the dominant political power.
Yeah, that's what I think, basically. And if you see the history, the tradition of satire, for example, you can see it very clearly. So the satire has this negative power, which actually is seen from the mainstream power, as something incredibly dangerous, more than a normal, typical, characteristic political opposition, maybe, because of this capacity to always take a step over from the normal situation in which power takes place.
Is laughter in that sense dangerous, or does it present a risk to all forms of political organization or all forms of political power? Or is it certain particular forms, for example, authoritarian political power, that are particularly vulnerable to laughter? Because I'm thinking now, of course, of the Five-Star Movement in Italy, which in a sense seems to be in large part based on laughter, on comic, but is opposed to, in fact, the democratic functioning of the system.
Yeah, well, this question is quite complex, but I'll try to say something. I think that it's quite difficult to set a tight difference between some sort of authoritarianism and what we intend by democracy today. So I think that even in democracy there are some parts which present authoritarian aspects as well. And in this sense, I think that laughter can be seen as a useful tool in every kind of political situation. Of course, the more the authoritarian part is visible, the more the laughter can actually show its authentic strength. And situation in Italy is particularly tragic and not funny in this sense. So, and I think also in the Five-Star movements there is no more space for laughter. They just shout at the moment. Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much, Francesco.
You're welcome.